The Shark Deck.
I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. 2 pole vaulters agreed to share the gold medal. Here's the deal. Nina Kennedy and Katie Moon both made it over the 4.90 meter bar, but neither one could get over the 4.951. This happened at the World Athletics Championships. I didn't think she'd want to share it. I thought we might have to keep jumping, but I kind of looked at her and said, hey girl, maybe you want to share this? After the relief on her face, and you could see it on my face, it was mutual. And yeah, absolutely incredible to share a medal with Katie Moon. We've been friends for so long, it's super special. Moon agreed, saying it had been a long battle and that for 4 jumps, they'd basically done the same thing. No one was going to make it. So, all right, let's move on. Hey, good news from Mary Austin. She was a friend of Freddie Mercury's, and she's got $2.2 million now. Why? She sold the baby grand piano that Freddie Mercury used to compose some of Queen's most beloved and acclaimed works, including Bohemian Rhapsody. This sold at an auction recently for nearly $2.2 million. It's a 1973 Yamaha G2. And it's part of an auction series in which hundreds of Freddie Mercury's personal possessions from his Kensington home, including costumes, song drafts, art, jewelry, furniture, and more, are going up for sale, leaving fans waiting for another kind of, quote, hammer to fall. That was cheesy. Mercury left his home and all of its belongings to Mary Austin, who kept his residence preserved almost exactly as he left it for more than 3 decades after Freddie's death in 1991. Austin said it was important to her that she handled his belongings in a way that Freddie would have loved. Good news, bad news for scientists. A new species was discovered, so that was good. And then they determined it was a critically endangered species, so that was kind of sad. The Kipiki was only identified in 2003, living on the slopes and forests of Mount Rungwe and Limestone Mountains in Kitulo National Park in Tanzania. It was identified after locals told scientists there were monkeys there. Now, 20 years later, the monkey's been the beneficiary of, quote, holistic conservation undertaken by scientists at the Wildlife Conservation Society. These monkeys are not very big. They have small black faces and large triangular crests of hair like a pompadour. The Tanzanian government quickly established nature reserves in the areas of the Kipiki's habit that weren't already protected. One of the scientists said it's not perfect by any means. There's still pressures. And just as anywhere in the world, illegal activities, there's still poverty around the edge, but it's in a considerably better place than it used to be. This is really cool, this next one. Sufferers living with kidney failure might have an option. Some folks at the University of California in San Francisco have produced an implantable device that mimics the kidney's functions. Their first clinical trials show that kidney cells housed within a device called a bioreactor can work quietly in the background like a pacemaker and does not trigger the recipient's immune system to go on the attack. More than 500,000 people in the U.S. require dialysis several times a week. Can you imagine if they get this thing to work? That would just be literally life-changing for people. Wow, really amazing. The device developed by the university's Kidney Project has successfully been implanted and tested in pigs for 7 days. The next step will be a month-long trial, first in animals and then humans. The scientists plan to fill the bioreactor with additional kidney cells that can mimic all the functions, such as balancing the body's fluids and releasing hormones to regulate blood pressure. Then, a full artificial kidney will be born. Wow. Hey, good news if you like giraffes, but you hate spots. A giraffe in Limestone, Tennessee at the Brights Zoo was born without spots. They held a contest to name the spotless giraffe, and they went with Kipiki. Do you know why? Because that's the Swahili name for unique. Staff say Kipiki has been fully accepted into the giraffe herd, who see her no differently. Born on July 31st, this is the rarest living giraffe on the planet. What makes her so rare, simply put, it's because she was born without a pattern. The last time that was known to take place was in Tokyo in 1972. So if you want to see the spotless giraffe, head to Brights Zoo in Limestone, Tennessee. And that's your good news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. You have an awesome day.